And now it's time for The Catch, which takes you around the Great Lakes to hear from reporters about the issues they're covering. Bite-sized news briefs about the lakes you love.
Explore shipwrecks of the Great Lakes with a glass-bottom boat ride. The seasonal tours are being offered by the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary in Alpena, Michigan. Emily Bingham with MLive has the story.
There's tons of shipwrecks out there. There are, of course, some with incredible backstories. You won't know what you're going to get until you're out there. So I think that's part of the fun of the adventure.
Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary is home to an estimated 200 shipwrecks, only half of which have been located. Depending on weather conditions, passengers can expect to see 2 to 5 shipwrecks per tour.
When you sign up for one of these tours, they're typically 2 to 2.5 hours long. And there are 2 decks on the boat, so you can lounge upstairs in the sunshine or downstairs. These tours are really for all ages. Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary is 4,300 miles in Lake Huron, so there's lots to see. They're narrated, so you get the maritime history, but then you also get to enjoy the beautiful Alpena shoreline.
In addition to the boat tours, visitors can learn more about the shipwrecks at the Great Lakes Maritime Heritage Center, which is free and open year-round. Emily says that Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary gives visitors an opportunity to explore the Great Lakes from a totally new perspective.
I picked up this story just because I thought it was a really fun and different thing to do and to put on your Michigan summer bucket list. There's just the classic summer adventures, but going out into the bay and getting to look down at shipwrecks from up above is really unique, and I think would be a great way to make memories with your friends or family.
There's a rich and often overlooked collection of stories related to food and culture in the Great Lakes region. The podcast Eat Your Heartland Out is dedicated to exploring just that. And so is podcast host and Great Lakes Now contributor Capri Cafaro.
My mission has been about showing the depth and breadth of the culture of the American Midwest, and part of that certainly is the Great Lakes. The thread and the theme is about food, drink, and tourism with Great Lakes and the Great Lakes region as an anchor.
And that's why Eat Your Heartland Out is rolling out a special 5-episode series focused on food stories tied to the Great Lakes, one of which takes place on a freighter and inspired a segment on this show.
The first one that comes to mind has to do with galley chefs on freighters in the Great Lakes. And they're really talking about how they're elevating food being served to crews that are out there working very hard day in and day out for sometimes 120 days in a row.
Other episodes highlight Midwestern wine production and the burgeoning craft brewery industry around Thunder Bay, Ontario, on the Canadian side of Lake Superior.
They really are a growing tourism magnet, partially because of their growing craft brewery industry, some of the festivals around that, and their growing immigration population there, which is bringing diverse flavors and palates.
These special episodes will be released this summer across many platforms.
You can find them on greatlakesnow.org. You can also find them on the heritageradionetwork.org, and you can also find them anywhere you find your favorite podcasts, like Apple, Spotify, etc.
Canada is dealing with one of the worst wildfire seasons in more than 2 decades, and the effects are being felt far and wide. Prairie's reporter for the Narwhal, Drew Anderson, tells us more about how the fire started and why officials say this year is shaping up to be the worst in recorded history.
We saw an early start to the forest fire season this year, and it sort of started before lightning really strikes in earnest. So human causes were a big factor early on, and then we've seen that sort of start to level out as the season progresses and more lightning strikes hit. In Canada, generally, it's about half and half between natural causes, lightning being the main culprit, and human causes.
One factor in setting the stage for this year's enormous wildfires is decades of forest management practices that emphasized fire suppression.
We manage these forests not only to protect infrastructure, to protect homes, but also to protect industry. Logging forestry is a big industry in Canada, right across the boreal forest that stretches across the whole country. And we've sort of prevented fires from happening, even though they're a natural phenomenon. The boreal forest is a fire forest. It requires it to regenerate and to grow. And we are putting them out more. We are letting debris and fuel build up. So, you know, the trees, the branches, all of these things contribute to a forest that really wants to burn.
With an excess of fuels to feed these fires and warmer than normal temperatures, experts predict that this pattern of wildfires may rise to an 18% increase by 2050.
So this summer, predictions are that it will continue to be hot, that it will continue to be dry across most of Canada, which does not bode well for these fires dying off, quieting down, and the smoke dissipating.
If you're concerned about air quality where you are, one source of information is airnow.gov. AirNow is a partnership of local, state, provincial, tribal, and federal partners in Mexico, the United States, and Canada that provides real-time air quality information, air quality forecasts, and related health information. One way to protect yourself is to stay indoors, either at home or in an air-conditioned public place if you have access. Air purifiers with HEPA filters can also help, and if you do go outside, take precautions.
If it is really bad smoke out there, that is bad for your lungs. And wearing masks, with an N95 or higher categorization, that really filters out those fine particles is really important. Wildfire smoke can really get into the lungs and do some damage.